living my life like it's golden, 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 golden, living my life like it's 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 golden, golden, living my life like it's golden, 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 living my life like it's golden, 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 living my life like it's golden, 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 living my.
Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the movement. We are the movement. We're a motivational organization veered to educate minds, empower, nurture, and transform. Yes, we are. We are a movement to move. Yes, we are a movement to move. We want to help you thrust into your purpose so that you can start living the best version of yourself and win. We've tapped into some winning information with some winners' resources. We're seated at the winners' table, and we invite you to take a seat with us, right, Annette?
That is so right. We are so excited tonight as we embark upon this great discussion. So thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us.
Wow, wow, wow. It's going to be going on tonight, y'all.
Yes,
We're so excited
yes.
to have you guys joining us. And we have a new little platform here. So we appreciate all of you who have joined us on social media. We are excited tonight. And please do us a favor and subscribe, like, share, call somebody, tell somebody that we are on and we are live right now. We have some great topics to discuss tonight. Our topic tonight actually is changing of the guards. How timely, Annette.
Yes.
Changing of the guards. And as you all know, those of you who know us and have been following us for a while, you know that we don't discuss our topics up front. Our topics were determined a year ago. And who knew? I mean, even like coming into January, we did these topics back in September, October.
Yeah, we
Our
did.
topics are done for the year.
Mhm.
And it just seems that God just has a way of making stuff fit and at the time that it needs to fit. So we have changing of the guards that we are talking about tonight. Our tea time topics are Operation Renovation, Don't Stand in the Way, Stay in the Process, Rally the Troops. Wow. And King and Queen Court. Boy, it's going to be going on tonight. So let me tell you, this discussion is about to be on and popping. But before we get to that point, I want to make sure that you all know to where we are. We're on Facebook. Our Facebook page and our Facebook group, which is Movement Worldwide, and we're also on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe. Please subscribe, like, and share. Tell somebody where we are. Go to our website at movementworldwide.org. You could become a patron, and just make sure you follow us on all of our platforms. We're Movement Worldwide everywhere. And also you can donate via Cash App and through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com. And if you go to our website, movementworldwide.org, you'll see that you can become a patron there. There's a button there that you can click. So we want to thank you all again for being with us. We don't take it lightly. You could be anywhere, but you decided to come here and join in this discussion with us. And so we're going to dig right in for a minute. Let me tell you, this is interesting, y'all. This is mighty interesting. Because before we even decided to start this, we were like, okay, we came into this time frame. This year was so unpredictable.
Yes,
so unpredictable. I mean, the world just kind of turned inside out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it did.
I mean, literally turned inside out, and we are definitely in the process of Operation Renovation. Because when you renovate, I don't know if anybody's ever renovated a house or renovated a building, or, even sometimes when your job or your home is going through renovation, it's a process and it's uncomfortable. It's messy. And, there are things that are changing. And guess what? When it's changing, and then I don't know if you feel the same way I do, but when it's changing, it's ugly before it gets pretty.
That is so true. Oh, yeah. It is. Yes, when you even clean out your closet and you got stuff everywhere, but
Thank
eventually,
you.
yeah, it's gonna
So
work.
So there's a lot going on. And before we get to this, let me tell you this mess that's happening today.
Oh,
I'm so bewildered, and I have a lot to say about that. And trust me, our platform for Can We Talk, don't get it twisted. We are not psychologists, we're lifeologists. We've lived some and we've been through some things, and we're here to share and motivate, but we also want to educate your minds. And you have to understand that in this day and age, if you don't have your mindset together and if you don't have an idea of where you're going with the rest of your life, you really need to get on the ball, and we can help you do that. But we're going to definitely be on top of everything that's going on, and we're going to talk about it. This is a platform where we can be comfortable and talk about things, because right now we are under renovation. And if
yeah.
you look around, I know we talk about this every year because people die all the time. It's just a part of life. But when you look at some of the people that we've lost recently,
Yes.
I'm,
Yes.
I've been really moved by the passing of Bishop Iona Locke.
Yeah. Me too.
I can remember her from back in the day. I mean, I started following Iona a lot back in the day when I first became a minister. She released CDs on with sermons. I mean, that wasn't really called, it was unheard of back then. And she had actually a record deal where her sermons were being released on CD.
Wow.
I
Wow.
mean, powerful woman of God, accepted her calling into pastorate, founded Abyssinia Christ-Centered Ministries in 1994, was consecrated bishop in 2000, and I followed her. But when you look at how people like that are leaving, how does that make you feel?
One thing about when she lost, it was such a shock, because
Mhm.
we didn't know that, she was sick, and it was almost like a little piece of the world went with her, because she was just one of a kind.
Mhm.
She was just one of a kind, and she came along when preaching women wasn't popular.
I know.
So she kind of, kicked the door in, and the rest of us just followed behind her. But yeah, it's just the truth. She was phenomenal.
That's true. She was ahead of her time.
Yeah,
And
oh, without a doubt.
let me tell you, and I have followed her for years. And I'm going to pause right now. I'm going to play just a little bit that I pulled of her today, for people who are not really that familiar. But let me tell you, if you're not that familiar with Iona, you need to get familiar. So check this.
Yeah.
There is an inheritance that has been handed to us, and we cannot move the boundary. I don't care who it is. What will we hand our teenagers? Will we hand them a weak, sloppy, a church without tentacles and teeth, a church that cannot heal, a church that is weak, that is dwarfed, that is mutated because we were not strong enough to hear the gospel? It says, if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me. Will we use the world system where the Bible said, woe unto them that go down into Egypt? Oh, no, we have never needed the world to do nothing for us. He never asked the world to lift him up. He chose a nation. He chose a people. He chose a people and put himself in them. Christ is not weak. He's not snivelly. He's not a coward. He's not coward and jellyback. He is awesome and almighty. And he's not weak yesterday. And he's not weak today. And he'll not be weak tomorrow. Jesus Christ is the same. What are we handing our children? We're handing them.
Wow. I know, right? Iona Locke, boy, she was nothing. Hey, she was nothing to play with.
She was.
When it was definitely a shock to us, but I'm sure to people who are around her, I'm not in her inner circle by far. I have brought her to ministries when I've been serving under, and I brought her to a women's conference before. So I have been familiar with her for, a few times, a few instances where I've been in her presence. And it was always a humbling experience because she was very, very powerful, very gifted, very brilliant. And there are minds like that. And then I wonder, what happens when they don't make them like that anymore. What are we set up for in the world today that we don't see the Iona locks coming?
You know what? Since God is doing a new thing, maybe the time for Iona Lock have passed.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about God that I love, even when we lose icons like that, there's somebody else He has.
Okay.
He always have somebody.
And it makes you wonder where they are. That's why it's important for everybody to be about their purpose.
That's right. That's right.
That's the main thing. That's why it's important to be about your purpose, because people like that, when they leave, it makes us, we get a little scared because, hey, here's another one. We had Rance Allen.
Oh, yeah.
That left us. And that was like, I remember being a little girl. Of course, I'm raised Kojic, so I was very familiar with Rance. But he was kind of ahead of his time, though. And the thing is that when you notice that about icons, that they're always ahead of the game.
Yeah. He came to Daytona a couple times. I had a chance to see him. Mm-hmm. He was also a preacher. He was a bishop. I think he was consecrated to a bishop. Yeah.
Right. But he was very controversial back in his day. Now, his music was very controversial. I'm going to play a clip. I was watching this today. I was greatly entertained. I was watching, there's a clip I put together, and the first part of it, I was so entertained by that, I got distracted. So I'm going to play this for a second for you guys.
Him to do. I don't care what your problem, he'll see you through. He's a miracle worker, yeah. He's a miracle worker, yeah. I looked in the
Let me tell you, there will never be another Rance.
Never.
There will never be another Rance Allen.
Man.
So we're looking at this and that, and we're looking at the fact that even this year we have Bishop Blake to step down. And again, I'm raised Kojic, and he had been bishop for 13 years. And he stepped down. And I saw that as a tool for somebody who bowed out gracefully, unlike this president. When your time is up. I mean, come on now. When your time is up, it's just up. And he decided that he wasn't going to run again. And, of course, a lot of people have their thoughts about that. But, that's three, and there've been so many more.
Oh my gosh.
But even looking back on this year at the loss of Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
And he was amazing. I mean, 18-time All-Star player, 2-time NBA finalist, MVP. He broke many records. I didn't care for him that much. He always had a pouty attitude to me. I didn't care for him as a player. Of course, I wasn't a fan. I'll put it that way. But he was brilliant. I care for him.
Yeah.
I wasn't a Kobe fan because I was all about the Heat. But that's neither here nor there. But at the end of the day, he was an icon.
He was amazing. He was. Yeah.
And even I'm going to put up one more, and this one, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
He had what I believe was a prophetic encounter with Denzel Washington, who was a financial benefactor of his college tuition one semester years prior. And then years later, he gave a speech about it when they were honoring Denzel. And when you look at his life, the powerful career that he had, and and his untimely death. So here we are now where the face is changing. And when the face of things are changing, it's supposed to be, Annette, supposed to be a peaceful transference of power. But instead, we getting this.
Yeah. But now, being fair to Donald Trump, which he did say that we would see when they asked him at the debate, would he,
I
would
ain't
he,
even fair to him.
he said we'll see, and that's prophetic. We see it.
Hey, if there's anybody out there who want to be fair to Donald Trump, y'all type in. I'm gonna be fair. But if you're not,
But
if you
you know what?
feel
But
like
listen,
don't
you
type in,
gotta
I'm
recognize.
not being fair to him.
Listen, you gotta recognize the man. He
True.
never showed nothing but who he was.
You're right.
He
When
didn't
somebody shows you
pretend.
who they are, you're supposed to believe.
Thank you. When he said we'll see, he meant that, and now we're seeing.
And you're right. But
Yeah.
we're in a very, very sticky position right now in society, because we have, when we look at the foolishness that we're dealing with today, where we have for the first time in our history, we have a Black woman who has been elected to one of the highest political offices. And not even just being a woman, it's being a woman.
Yeah,
and a woman of color and a woman of Indian descent. She has like so many things that is, it's like, wow, the accolades. And when you think about that, it's like, man, God has really started doing some renovating in society now. And what we have to do is we have to put ourselves in place so that we don't stand in the way of what God is trying to do.
You're right. You're right.
Because I look at today, I was, and I'm going to go there a little bit because today I was aggravated. I was trying to prepare,
I was too.
and I was vexed, and I went through different emotions where I was angry, I was anxious, because I was a little anxious because I could see where the climate was going.
Yeah.
And because I was on and off the TV. And because I've been working pretty much all day, and I was on and off the TV, you can't help but know what's going on. And then people calling you, do you see what's happening? You see that? You see that? And when I actually started really paying attention, I'm like, no, they did not. Now, and when you call people into violence intentionally, violence begets violence. So people were called into a volatile situation. And the saddest thing about this entire process today was that a life was lost.
Yeah.
I'm sure that young woman, on the day that, when she decided to go into the Capitol, when she decided to be a rebel, she probably had no idea. I'm sure she wasn't thinking, oh, my life is going to end today.
Oh, yeah.
Or that was even a possibility. I'm hoping, one would think that was the case, but what bothered me the most is that I can't look at this situation and not feel some type of way about my evangelical brothers and sisters who have supported, and then who are being silent.
Oh yeah, they're quiet, real quiet.
Quiet and meek as a lamb right now.
Yeah.
And none of them are saying anything about this mess, the ruckus that has happened today.
Yeah.
It went too far.
They did.
It went way too far because, like it or not, a life was lost in this madness.
Yeah.
It went too far.
I found very interesting when I was looking, as I got past all those emotions, because I was mad. I was really mad. I sat and I felt vexed, and I wanted to cry because I said I never thought I'd see this. This is what happened to other countries. But what I found so interesting about him, there are people, over 100 and some people sitting in the house that's supporting him. Never once did he ask how they were. Did anybody get hurt? Never once did he say. He told them how wonderful that they were, patriot, and they loved them. But never once. I said, now these people they could have got killed. Honestly,
Exactly.
he never asked how nobody was doing. It took the vice president to say, hey, we need to get some help, not him. So yeah.
Yeah. Not once did he offer. All he did was praise them.
Yeah.
And I'm so vexed by that because there when you look at that, that's the spirit of an emperor. And when you look at this thing from a biblical standpoint, you can see how much this is not like God. And what bewilders me
Mhm.
is that there are so many people who believe that this is the will of God.
Mhm.
How
They still praying. They still praying about it.
how did we get here? Because you know what, we've exited now. Of course, coming into 2020, a lot of people thought, "Oh, the new beginnings." Well, new beginnings isn't always pretty.
Yes.
Renovation is not always a pretty thing. It has to get ugly. The walls have to tear down, and when you start tearing down the walls, and when you start pulling up the flooring, and when you start knocking things down, taking all the cute stuff, all the aesthetics out, all you have is a shell. So I believe that a lot of what we have dealt with this year has been that we have
Yeah.
been going through the process of, God has been uncovering a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, there's so many. When I look at all of these people who the cover has come off, and all of the madness that has been going on, and particularly amongst our church brothers and sisters. Now, Annette and I, we're both, and for those of you who don't know, we're both Christians and we're ministers. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that that when we are presenting ourselves before people, we represent God.
Mm-hmm. That's
So,
right.
and everybody got dirt. We all got those bones in our closet. Can we talk? Mhm. We all
Yeah, we do. We
we all
do.
got. So I'm not here to come against anybody. I don't mock the people who do, the bloggers. They better be careful. They can say what they want to say about the Larry Reeds of the world and those people who are called into that forum, into that platform. I can tell you one thing: the cover has come off. Renovation has been already in process in
Already.
2020.
Yes.
We had an upset with social climate. We had the political mayhem. We had the pandemic, where most of us were shut down for months and months and months and couldn't do anything. So now, entering into 2021, when I started studying and I went into Clarence Larkinson's book, I love his book on dispensational truths. And one of the things that I always love to study is numbers. I always study his information that he has on numbers. And of course, at one point, I was trying to be real deep in there. I was trying to find something real deep. I got off of that real quick because the number was representing rebellion. And when I look at where we are right now as a society, and it's particularly what has gone on today with supposedly the starting process of the changing of the guards, there are people who are standing in the way of not only our democracy, but their own blessing, their own, you're going to be held accountable for the foolishness. Every politician, every protester, every preacher. Hello.
Yeah.
Don't think that just because you've been skating this long, you're going to keep skating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially
You're right.
through this madness.
It is. It's crazy, and it's not going to change anything. That's the part that just tickled me. You can go and you can climb a building. I call them a mega Spider-Man because they were climbing the building. You could go do all of that foolishness, but it's not going to change the result. It's not, and it's amazing that I have not seen on social media people saying, "Hey, that's not right." No, you have. I mean, people just quiet. You know why they're quiet? Number one, because some of them has perpetuated these lies for so long.
Right.
Some of them hoping that it do work.
Right.
So then they just say, "Yeah, I know God said that."
Right.
But it's not going to work.
Right.
Because see, one thing I love about God, He don't just speak to, and some of that stuff He didn't speak to them anyway. They were just regurgitating what other people said. So yeah.
Man.
So it's crazy.
But we do have a tendency to stand in our own way. We do have a tendency to block our own blessing. And I know that at this point, I had to catch myself because I don't want to get into the process of being overly political on social media. I've been pretty good. I do now. There are times that I do go off, but I've been real good. But I had to post something today. I could not resist that today. And I try to be very careful with my words. And I even typed, "I'm not going to cuss," because I was mad enough too. I was mad enough to choice word up something today, but I'm like, I still have a standard to hold, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
do it. But I'm not going to let the devil use me. But I was very hurt by the fact that in a protest where there's predominantly African Americans, people are getting shot and tear gas and beat. But these people were literally fighting the Capitol Police.
Yeah. And I went all the way and sit in Pence's seat,
Yeah.
in Nancy Pelosi's office. I'm
Just
like, what?
disrespectful.
Yeah.
And then and to think now we had early on commentary and arguments on Facebook about, oh, they're tearing up the CNN building. Oh, they're trying to deface the property and the monuments. And there was Robert E. Lee statues.
Yeah.
All of the foolishness and madness about that. But these people broke into the Capitol.
Yeah. Broke windows.
Violated the property of the United States of America. That makes no sense to me. So why y'all ain't talking? Hello?
Oh, they're not. Oh, no, they're not. Because I'm telling you, some people believe this God's will, because I know what God said, and he said he was going to be the president. But what you fail to understand, he's not going to be the president this way. He's going to have to wait for 4 years and run again. I think it's comical. I was like, really, y'all? Come on, y'all. So now this lady, now she's got to go home to, they got her, I'm assuming she may have family, the lady that got killed. For what? He's not going to even mention her. He's not. He may say patriot. Oh, they just being a patriot. Well, that's so silly. But we got 2 weeks, but a lot can be done in 2 weeks. But that's all right. He's gone. He's gonna get out of there. And it's interesting because this is not the first time people didn't agree. When he won the presidency, the place was full of people that was marching against him, but they didn't go in and tear up stuff because they didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that he won, but I didn't go on and on and on. It is a process. And the interesting thing is, while he carrying on, life is changing. Look at those two men in Georgia. Both of the Democrats won in Georgia. Come on, Georgia. Come on. So you can't see a change. You can't see renovation coming. But anyway.
Okay. So I mean, at the end of the day, I know that we have to get out of the way of where God is taking us, because and we can do, when you think about it, and that in some of the instances in our own life, we may not be as, inciting violence, and it may not affect the masses, but it affects our lives and our families' lives.
Yeah.
We stay in situations too long, or when we stand in our own way, or when we don't move out of the way when God is literally clearly shifting you and he's telling you, okay, it's time to let that go. It's time to stop doing this. It's time to move on to the next level. But so often we try to continue to operate like yesterday. We're in 2021 and we're all the way like so many days in, 6 days in to 2021. So whatever you didn't get done in 2020, whatever, listen, it's a whole new year. And guess what? We have shifted. There has been shift has taken place. Shift happens, as we said in our it happens, and we have to make sure that we stay the course and not stay in a situation. I think I heard Larry try to say this: don't stay where you're tolerated, go where you're celebrated.
Yeah.
Because when it's time to go, it's just time to go.
Time to go. Let it go. It's time to go. Your time is up. And it's what's mind-boggling to me. They keep saying, well, they need to show me. They need to show me. Well, they've been to court over 50, 60 times.
Right.
They lower court. They went to the Supreme Court. They've been to this place, and y'all still talking foolishness.
It was thrown out everywhere.
Everywhere. Remember, he even tried to get the guy from Georgia to change the vote, to commit fraud and to lie. That's what he was asking for. So I'm wondering, we should never be like where he is right now. There's such a level of desperation to the scary. When a person that desperate for something, they'll do anything. And obviously we saw that today. Yeah. Such a level of it's crazy. Like, why is it so important? You lost. That's life. Sometimes you lose.
Sometimes you lose. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to count your losses and move on.
Yeah.
And instead of overstaying your welcome, because and because oftentimes, because of the fact that we don't want to move on, another thing that we end up doing is that we'll not only will we want to stay where we were, Annette, but we refuse to move to the next place and continue on the road that God has put you on.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stay the process. Stay in the process. It may not look the way you want it to look. It may not be moving the way you wanted to move, and you lost. I know I'm still on Donald Trump, but you lost. And for those of you who prophesied that he was going to serve 2 terms, okay, you missed it.
You missed it.
Go and face your congregation. You missed it. Period. But we have to stay the course for where God is taking us. Things are different.
Yeah.
Nothing that we used to do, Annette, is working anymore.
Nothing. And that leadership style, it serves no purpose. That leadership style, where this country is going, we can't have that. And so he had to be voted out. And look, and obviously, if you see who follow him, that'll tell you is why would you think that just because you do rallies that should help you win? Do you not see who the people be that's at the rallies? I was like, it's this country is made up of all kind of people, not just one type of persons or people. And so that's another thing. I think he missed it. He missed it with that, but. We got a couple more weeks, and even the last day, they may have to go in there and pull him out. I don't know.
I pray not.
Yeah. If they do.
I mean, hey, you never know, because at the end of the day, life moves on, and we have to keep moving.
We do.
Hey, but that was something that I was looking in our notes today, and there was something that you had under our stay the process, and it was put on your mask, and you had that as acronym. What did you mean by that?
The mass maneuvering and seeking knowledge, because we're getting ready to go to the next level. And so we got to learn how to maneuver. But in the process of maneuvering, you got to seek knowledge, because we can't go to the next level just to go. There's a process, and things are changing. So since things are changing, we gotta get more educated, find out what's going on. What do we need to do to go to the next level? So that's what mask is maneuvering and seeking knowledge. Because whether you know it or not, you may not move, but everything else around you gonna move.
Everything else around you gonna move.
Yeah, you stand still if you want to. So I'm talking about maneuvering, and even with us, we're maneuvering and just seeking and asking God what's next, and doing what you need to do to help you. And that's what some of the people that I saw today, they need to put on their mask, and they need to maneuver, and they need to put on that mask, and also needed to put on a regular mask, because most of them didn't have one.
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, and you're exactly right. That's something that we are told to practice right now, is putting on our mask. And symbolically, there are many people who are not doing that, and who are not also keeping social distancing.
Yeah. No, they're not.
Staying 6 feet away from people. But and then too, and that even with all of that, from thinking from a practical sense, going into an applicable sense, we always have to be mindful of who's in our camp, who's around us, who's in our inner circle. That's why when I love to watch this time of year. Well, this time during the election season, especially when it's somebody that I want to see. But I love to watch to see who's going to be chosen as the cabinet choices. And when I started dealing with my own businesses and organizations that I function in, one of the main things that I did with all of my stuff is I started to look at the people that are connected to me, what they offer, and the difference in our personality traits, because that is something that matters when you're moving forward in business. You want to know that you and the people that you are functioning with have certain traits. Now, everybody's not meant to have the same thing, because you can't have 2 dominant people in one business.
No.
Like, we gotta be fighting over who go. I'm the king. Because there's some stuff and some people that you have to lay aside.
Yeah, that is so true. And even when I was listening to to Biden when he was choosing the cabinet. He was choosing people who had an expertise in
Right.
particular thing. He didn't just put, oh, this person be good. You know, it's like Ben Carson. He's a doctor, but you put him over HUD. I'm like,
That made no sense.
that was to me. I mean, this man is well known. I mean, it made no sense to me. But anyway, so you got to make sure that the people, you got to always have somebody smarter than you, or somebody who may be more versed in area than you. I say it all the time. If you're the smartest person in your little group, you may need to change some friends.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Man, so that's something. The other thing is one of the things that we have to do in this day and age is to wash our hands.
Yeah.
Now, when I look at this particular thing, it's like I'm looking at it from a spiritual perspective and just applying to myself, because I'm telling you, the climate that we've been in over the last week or two has been so stressful. And the simple things that we can take and apply. Sometimes we overstep practical knowledge and we go straight to being super duper pseudo spiritual.
Yeah.
Everything is pseudo spiritual. It's like you can't even have a conversation with somebody. I think that's one of the problems that even exists amongst those of us in the body of Christ, is that we can't sit and have a practical conversation without. And I love. Hey, let me tell you something. I was in here, going on with Ayana. I watched the whole sermon today, so I'm like, I could get with the best of them, and ain't nothing like having a good praise break. But there comes some times you have to sit down and be practical and think some simple information, and because water is a symbol of life and birth, a symbol of life and birth. And when you think about how when we think when a baby, before a baby's born, what is a baby enclosed in?
Water.
Exactly. What are we predominantly made of?
Yes, water.
And we're all, constantly in scripture, there's reference to being washed in the blood. So we have to clean up our act.
All right, now.
We have to clean up our act. We have to clean up our situations. We have to clean up our lives. There's so many areas. And I always say, I can't blame nobody but me. I can't blame, girl. When I start going through it, I'll be like, oh, Lord have mercy. I can't blame nobody but Anita for a lot of the problems that I may think I face. But at the end of the day, when I actually start doing self-examination, the first thing that comes to mind is to clean it up.
Yeah.
Clean it up.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, Anita? I had to today, I was just so enraged. I had to step back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like you, I had to make sure that I didn't get so focused on what the leader of this country was doing. I had to make sure, okay, not to put anything on social media that I would not be proud of, or whatever I put out, put it again.
Right.
So sometimes when we so caught up in what we see and the injustice, we can lose ourselves.
Right.
And like you say, we got to have clean hands.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter if whether his hands are dirty or not. We got to make sure our hands are clean.
Okay.
And so that is one of the things that even when you don't like a situation, you have to make sure that you step back and look at it for what it is. And that's where I think a lot of people made mistake today. Even the ones who may believe that there was some type of injustice, maybe they should have stepped back and said, wait a minute, I'm a protest, but I'm not going to break into the building. And a lot of them probably did that,
Right.
So, but you got to make sure your hands are clean. You're so worried about the next man dirty hands. And I was need to be washed. So.
Some of the traditional Jewish practices, washing the hands was something that they did upon getting up in the morning 3 times on each hand, and that's cleansing and preparation for a new day. Those are customs. So when we think about certain customs and principles and practices that we're taught in the tutor, which is the Bible, we don't necessarily ever think about applying them in our lives today.
Yeah.
That's the old. Yeah. Oh, that's old. That's not it. They don't apply. They don't apply. It all applies.
All applies.
It's principle. The commandments don't apply no more. Principle. Thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind. Love thy neighbor as thyself. You have to love. You have to learn to apply everything. But that's just something that we just don't do.
No, we don't. But when we're in a setting like this, it reminds us
Mhm.
that even though with all the foolery today, that we all have fallen short and we all need to get in line.
Exactly.
And even with the president, we have to pray for him because we only see the outside. God knows the heart of man.
Mhm.
And who's to say the turmoil he may be going through? People that don't care.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying, for a man who never lost anything from what that I've heard, all of a sudden, you one term and you out of there. And
Mhm.
in his mind, he like, this can't be true. He
Mhm.
has not resolved it. And so instead of resolving in his mind, he just made up some stuff to sound good, to make he know you got to go. But if you are, I'm only going because of this. No, you're going because you lost. But in your mind, you come up with a story. And
Mhm.
even with our lives, in our own personal life, maybe we have to make sure we understand that we don't just come up with a story. Things change, then you have to go with the flow.
Mhm.
You just have to go with the flow. It's the process. It's the changing
Mhm.
of the gods, and sometimes it's not always a good place. Sometimes it can be awfully hurtful when you have
Mhm.
to change from what you know.
Mhm.
So who's to say what he may be? It's dangerous what he's doing.
It is dangerous.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
anyway,
Yeah, so it's amazing, but we're gonna take just a little break for about a minute, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about our next tea time topic, which is rally the troops. And let me tell you, I got something today in that really blew my mind because there's something that and my heart really breaks for where the body of Christ is today, and I really want to encourage people to be in prayer, not just for the body of Christ, but for our country, for this nation, and for people, for the mindset of people. So we're going to take a little break and we'll be right back.
Join us for Power Walk Sunday every second Sunday at 10 a.m. live. TNT, that's Tuesday Night Talk with Annette Anderson, every Tuesday live on Facebook at 9 p.m., where you can soar, that's speak, orate, articulate, and reverberate. When we eat well, we live well, and all will be well. Join the journey and take your life back with Eat Well, Live Well, Be Well. Visit our website and register today. Also, join us for the Be Well Health and Wellness live stream every second Saturday at 3 p.m. live. If you don't have your copy yet, go to Amazon right now and purchase your copy of Living Life One Quote at a Time by Annette Anderson. Sow good seed into good soil. Donate via Cash App at Movement Worldwide or visit our website at movementworldwide.org. Click the link and become a patron. We thank you kindly for your continued support. Make sure you follow us on all of our platforms and turn your notifications on. Hit the like button and subscribe. Oh, and don't forget to share.
Yes.
yes, everybody. Well, now we want to talk about now rally the troops. When
Mhm.
we started thinking about this, we didn't understand that what was going to be going on, what
We
was going
did not.
on today. Is we see a rally of the troops, and actually before this happened, they actually had a rally. They
Yes.
had a they had a rally where the president talked, and I gave him a little marching orders.
Well, and he loves a rally. Okay,
He does.
position that he loves to be in, right there, all the time.
Yes, yes. I mean, it does something to him. I almost feel kind of sorry in a sense because when all the accolades stop and all the Trump stops and what will happen. But we want to talk about rallying the troops, and that's what we saw today. Now, it was not in a good way, but it
Mhm.
was rallying the troops. In other words, there were people who had one belief. And they believed that the election was stolen. Now, with that, it caused a whole lot of issues. It
Mhm.
caused, I mean, that was the wrong way to rally the troop. But
Mhm.
then, and the first thing we want to really look at is to mobilize around a common cause.
Mhm.
We saw that. We saw that mobilize. not a good cause, but even in our own personal walk and even in the things that we endeavor to do, we have to make sure we mobilize ourselves around a common cause. Now, I like to use the movement because we have a common cause, because we want to motivate people. We want to help thrust you into your purpose. So what we've done is took all the tools that we've had and mobilized it.
Right.
And we're trying to get you to a place to understand that you have what it takes. And every now and then we just have to be reminded of who we are and what we are capable of. What you think about that, Anita?
You know what? One of the things that, and I was saying that there was something that came to the realization today is that we, when we're mobilizing around our cause, when we start to deal with ourselves and trying to function outside of the norm, or trying to move forward in a business or organization or structure or something that is linked to our destiny and our purpose, we can sometimes get so distracted by the things that are around us that are quote unquote negative or unproductive, or that seems to get in the way. And I notice a lot of times that happens, and because a lot of us are victims of, and I heard a preacher say this, I can't remember where it was. I think it was something I watched online. He said that we are victims of institutionalized hypocrisy. That we become so engulfed and so entranced by the institutionalized version of church or the body of Christ, that hypocrisy is now something that is just completely tolerated.
Wow.
And and when you look at it from a perspective of being a victim of institutionalized hypocrisy, it's so easy to see how some people can get to that point where your cause starts to suffer, and you can't rally because you got people looking at you like, okay, but your stuff is ragged as a mango seed, so why would I come and be part of what you're doing?
That is so true. That is definitely true. But then we need to learn how to define our rally cry. What are we doing? What are we talking about? Because with the movement we're talking about motivation.
Right.
With when I do Can We Talk, I'm talking about sword, and I'm trying to also motivate. So my rally cry is to help motivate people and get people somewhere, to help them thrust, like I said earlier, into their purpose, to help them move to the next level. And so, we have to define that. Because sometimes we just get out there and do stuff, and there's no rhyme or reason to why we do it.
True.
Like I have an organization called Gifts Girls and Five for Total Success, and I'm dealing with women and young girls, so I target that area. And so with the rally cry, you got to be able to target a particular area. Yeah, don't you think, Anita?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You have to be able to. I mean, of course, when you know your audience, and like we said last week, when you know your why.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why, and when you know your audience, when you know the people that you are called to reach or called to inspire or called to encourage, then you understand, because we all know that, okay, you got gifts, you're awesome, you're best, and you're all that in a bag of chips, but you're blessed to be a blessing. Blessed to be a blessing. So it's not for you. And what we're doing is not for us. This thing is not about me. Being on here is not about me. Listen, let me tell you something. It took me all day to prepare for this. It might look simple. We might make it look easy. It might look like it's not a whole lot to it. But let me tell you something. My hat goes off to any vlogger. My hat goes off to anybody with a platform, because this is not easy. But the thing is, I had to come to the conclusion that, my rally cry is to get on here no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Show up every Wednesday, no matter what. That's the rally cry.
That's right. That's right. And also, we have to enhance benefits for everyone. So what we do is, when we enhance our platform and we do these changes, it's not just for us, it's for everyone. Because that's the purpose of rallying the troops. Because we got to enhance the benefit. We got to make sure that stuff looks good. We got to make sure that we have correct information. We got to make sure that we can direct people where they need to go and give them the tools that they need to get to the next level. So we have to enhance our benefit, and we do it all the time. We're constantly trying to enhance. Of course, it's for our benefit, but it's more for your benefit, to help you thrust into your purpose. And I keep saying thrust because that's my favorite word that Anita says all the time. So, and so that's so important when you rally the troops. We're trying to get you somewhere, and so and I find that a lot of times when we enhance what we're doing and we make our changes, it helps us also. It helps us. It helps us grow, and it helps us get to the next level. It helps us seek information and build. And then
Mhm.
with us building, we're able to share that with other people.
That is
And that's
so
what it's all about at the end of the day.
Hey, let me tell
Yeah.
you. I mean, I look at our situation today, and there needed to be some mobilization. There needed to be a rally of troops today. How did that fall through the cracks?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a conspiracy to me. It totally fell through the cracks because when when you intentionally set out to do what you're supposed to do, and that when we intentionally set out to come on every Wednesday, we're prepared. Everything is set up, everything is scheduled, everything is timely, everything is there's not been a time. I mean, before when we were operating on Zoom, which thank you guys for switching over with us. This is our first night going completely live on all of these platforms. So we thank you all so much for switching over with us, because we're used to having a room full of people in Zoom and then a few people on Facebook. But now we're opening up. But even with all of that, we were always prepared. We always had our PowerPoint. We always had our points. We always had our information. So when you're prepared, and then we have our people, we notify our people, we rally our troops, we define the rally cry, we put out the rally cry, and we know that what we have is going to benefit everyone. So with all of that being said, you're prepared. You can't tell me that today was not intentional, because everybody knew that people were going to show up and that people's emotions and tensions were high.
That's right. And he already said it's going to be like fire. you know. So yeah, I think it was done in. I think it got out of hand, but it was done intentional. I firmly
I
believe.
believe it was extremely intentional that they were able to breach security. I think it was extremely.
Yes.
Of course, we know it was intentional that they went, but honestly, I know and can tell from the fact that how these people were in there vulnerable, trying to do their work, that they were caught off guard. They had no idea. Nobody ever expected anybody to be that bold, especially in the United States. We have never seen anything like that. That is
yes,
ridiculous,
right.
and it is blasphemous. It is sinful, and it's evil.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I've been constantly having to bite my tongue today.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Because
But
we don't. What he wants is something that we don't have, even though it's one of our tea time topics. But he wants to be a king.
he can't. He cannot be a part of the king and the queen's court. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Well, that takes us to our next topic. In Isaiah 61:3, it talks about beauty for ashes.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look up that word in Hebrew, beauty is the crown.
Mm-hmm.
It's a head covering, And so when we start looking at this, we've thought about how if you're gonna wear a crown, you can't do it without a cross. No cross, no crown.
Mm-hmm.
It takes something to wear a crown. Even when you look at some of these Miss America and all these different beauty pageants, those ladies just don't walk up and put on the crown. There's a process. They have to be, you have to be a certain size, have a certain look, and you have to answer questions, wear your bathing suit with your gown, and you got to have a personality.
Exactly.
And so they have to go through something to put on the crown. And so today we saw somebody who wanted to be a king, but he would never be a king because this country don't have kings and queens. So no cross, no crown. And so if you're going to be able to go to the next level and wear a crown, and there's a process. I was thinking about playing checkers. I used to play checkers a lot with my sibling when we were growing up. We didn't have a whole lot of stuff we played, but we played checkers. And so one of the rules of the game was to get to the other side of the board and you tell that person to crown you. And so once they crown you, you were able to jump out over the board.
Right.
But you had to go through the process to get there. And once you became the king, you're doing something different. And so even with us now, that we've had some crosses to bear, and we probably will have more. But we understand that we wear our crown not because we want to to show off, but we wear because we are part of the king and the queen's court. We are somebody. God has anointed us and called us for such a time as this. And so that is why it's so important. What are you thinking about that, Miss Anita?
Let me tell you that which I was gonna wait till the end because I know y'all didn't think I was gonna get by without me doing my word, and you gave me the opening to do my word. We know our format is a little different for those of you who have been following us. I love to deal with a word from a verb that relates to our topic, and I deal with it from a transitive and intransitive tense. An intransitive verb makes sense without an object. Transitive verbs needs an object in order to make sense. And so the word that I'm using is change. And when you're talking about
Ah,
yes, and that's where we are. We are in a change. Then the word change from from a transitive verb. Let's deal with transitive first. Transitively, it means to transform.
come on.
It's radically different, to transform. But then when you look at the word from an intransitive tense, now remember the intransitive verb does not need an object to make sense. It means to exchange. And what we are operating in right now in our society is supposed to be the exchange of power, a peaceful exchange, and it means I take the baton and I put it in your hand and you take it from there. And so when I think about it from that particular point, Annette, it's like, wow, you have to not be one to be a person to resist change, to resist
Yeah.
transformation.
Yes, yes. That's that burden of the election. The burden of election. They just don't want to release it,
Mhm.
But then when we really look at Queen Esther, when you read the book,
Oh, I love that.
yeah, and it's saying, uh, a call to the kingdom such a time as this. This is the new season, and people gonna fight and they're gonna complain, but at the end of the day, it's going to change. But even when you read her story and how Haman was, trying to undercut and doing some things and had built a gallows. So that what was her uncle name? I can't think his name right now, but to be hung, and how he built that. And he ended up being the one that was hanged. So now we're living in a time that you can try to set traps and you can try to do some undercut stuff like what happened today, but it's not going to change anything
Mhm.
because we've called at such a time as this. And then there's Miss Kamala Harris reached a
Mhm.
milestone. And so look what God has done to her. And before I want you to say a few things about her, but I also want to talk about the two gentlemen from Georgia. Who would have thought
Who
this
would have thought?
that would happen? That would happen at such a time as this? Because it's time for change. And if you look at his cabinet,
Mhm.
diversity. We didn't have diversity. We just had a madman up there. If he didn't like what people said, because he was smarter than everybody, he'll fire him or whatever. They quit. But we live in a time that things have changed. And
Mhm.
and 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 diversity is. And I was reading something just a few minutes ago how it's gotten so bad in this country they've even locked down his Twitter for 12 hours, so he can't even tweet that foolishness for 12 hours. You know,
But you know what? That's what happens. I mean, you were talking about Mordecai earlier because
yeah, Mordecai.
Haman had
Haman. Yeah,
become
Haman.
such a powerful man in the kingdom, and Mordecai had Esther to hide her faith from the king and his advisors, which she did. And when I think about this, it's like, oh my goodness, when we're looking at this situation, like from the outside looking in, I look at people like what's her name that was calling on the African people.
Oh, Paula White.
And when you do stuff like that, and that it becomes a mockery.
Yeah.
It's like we've made, well, I won't say we, those who have done that foolishness like that, from that perspective, have made a mockery of God. A mockery. Because not necessarily that you need to hide who you are and not pray in public and not do things in public, but there's a way, because methods are different. We're changing. There's a transformation that's happening. We have transitioned into a whole nother way of operating. Old prototypes don't work anymore.
Yeah.
And people are not being reached by that anymore. They already look at the church as though it's a joke anyway. And then when you got foolishness like that happening, like what? Oh, they couldn't see that? Because I thought she was a prophet. I thought he was a prophet. I gotta go, God didn't tell him Trump was gonna lose. It's like, what? But then you have, but there are situations when I'm looking at that king and queen court and how you're dealing with Esther called into the kingdom for such a time as this. We look at Kamala,
Yes.
brought into the kingdom for such a time as this. And I have said this, and I'm going to let it out there. You can let everybody know you heard it on Can We Talk, and you can tell them that Anita Faye Wilson said it. I have said this to many people that I've talked to when we have these spiritual conversations and, just life conversations. I have said, I knew that the next move, I've been through so many different moves in the body of Christ and in society in my life. I'm 52 years old, I'll be 53 my next birthday. So I've been through some things. I've lived a good piece of life here. So I've seen transitions happen. I've seen changing of the guards happen. It has happened in church ministries where churches didn't have praise teams at once upon a time. Now all of a sudden everybody had a praise team. And then all of a sudden the pastor started wearing the jeans with the holes in the knees. And then now every pastor wearing the jeans with the holes in the knees. It's like, that's just a thing for me. I just got tired of saying it. I'm like, do all y'all have to wear skinny jeans with the holes in the knees? But there's been so many trends and changes that have happened. But I firmly believed, and it's being proven to be evident with the rise of people like Stacey Abrams. And when I look at how Congress elected so many powerful women in that last congressional election. Now, I said this, and I'm going to say it again. I believe that the next powerful move not only politically, but in the body of Christ is going to be through a Black woman. Black women are, African-American women are, God is using women, using African-American women in this day and age. And I'm just so happy, Annette, that we are in the number.
Yes, me too. Me too. And now I was thinking about with Biden communication, I think it is, all of those are women.
Mm-hmm.
All of his communication when he
Right.
nominated, all of these are women. So it's time for us. It's time for us to make the move and not be caught up in in the foolishness. That's why the king and queen court, but we the queen. And so hey, I'm gonna wear my crown and wear it proudly, because these women are not just any kind of women. These are educated, smart women. And I think Kamala went to a HC. Did she go?
Yeah, she went to Howard University.
Yeah. So, so that speaks volume right there that these colleges can produce. And I know for so long they got a bad rap, but listen, they producing some stuff here. Even the guy who won in I forgot what he said he went, but it was a Black college, the one in Georgia.
Right.
Except he was the 11th child of 12. So and I know he got some proud sisters and brothers, and if his mom and dad and family, 12 people.
His mom, they've been talking about it all day, that his mom's 80-year-old hands that picked cotton also walked into the precinct to elect her son.
Wow.
Isn't that powerful?
I didn't see that. I guess I'm probably looking at foolery, but I'm probably looking at some foolery, who, but it was a time I wouldn't say a whole lot about the leader, but he put himself out there. So if you want to put yourself out there and you want to be a fool, and you got them the fool doing foolish stuff, and you got these people patting you on the back, I think it's just silly because they know too. Of this is not the way. This is not. It's a changing of the guards, but it's not. We don't do that by people dying and fighting and doing that kind of stuff. Somebody died today. That did not have to die. She wasn't COVID. She got shot in her chest. She didn't have to die today. But like I told my husband, I said, if somebody break in my house, chances are they won't leave the same way they came in here. And that's what happened. They broke into something they weren't supposed to do. And my heart go out to the families of the young lady, whoever she may be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it brings us all down to the point, and we're getting ready to close in a minute. But at the end of the day, and the biggest thing is that we have to all come to the conclusion that we're now ushered in. We're here now, and it's time to change.
Yeah,
it's time to change. Whatever it is in your life, it's time to make the changes, the necessary changes. Some of us, it comes down to making preparations. God will be telling you little things like start purging. Start moving things around, shifting things around. You might be getting ready to bless you with a new home. And some God is blessing with a new marriage or with, financial blessings. There's so many things that could be coming down the pike. You have a business, and maybe a business is too crowded. Maybe it's crowded with employees that you probably needed to let go of a long time ago, or maybe just get them some training or do some things that you need to do. But, we have to learn to put things in order, because change is upon us, and you can't change that. You can't stop that from happening, because seasons change.
Yes, you're
Things
right.
are moving.
Hmm.
The Bible says that Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. He changes not in his nature, but his methods constantly do. And we have to make sure that we are moving with whatever change is come upon us.
Yes, that's true.
And so we just want you guys to be encouraged and to understand that, listen, hey, it's, start pulling out your notepad and get your affirmations together. Get in the mirror, tell yourself off daily. I had to do it to myself. I have to get them in the mirror myself, because I'm self-employed. I have to tell myself daily, if you don't get it done, it won't get done. If you don't make it happen, won't a dime come into the house. So you have to make things happen. And for me, of course, Anita has to change. Anita has to change a lot of things. And I can't do things like I did in 2020, because 2020 had me so clouded that I was lost in a lot of it. But I got a lot of things done.
Oh,
But
yeah.
now that I'm out of 2020, I can't use 2020 as a reason. 2020 can't be the reason anymore. I don't know who that's for. 2020 is no longer the reason. So now we're ushered into 2021, and there are a whole lot of things that are coming down the pike. And if you have not changed, then things like today will catch you off guard.
Yeah.
You don't want to be caught off guard by a coup attempt on your business, by a coup attempt on your peace, on your family, on your ministry. Don't allow yourself to be caught off guard like that.
Hmm. That's so true.
Be prepared, because change has come upon you. Transformation. Yes. It's a transformation. It's a switch. It's an exchange. That's what it means to change. Peaceful exchange of power. Somebody need to tell them it's supposed to be peaceful. Well, we thank you all so much for joining us tonight. As always, you could have gone anywhere else, but you stopped by here to talk to these two young ladies, and we just want to say that we don't take it lightly that you stopped by, and we ask that you, hey, visit our website, become a patron. You can also donate via Cash App. And remember always to subscribe, like, and share. And we are here every single Wednesday without fail, at the same time with a different topic. And we're always here to help empower and educate you, and to help share some of the things that we experience and some of the things that we see happening in the world. So just a safe environment. But we also want to invite you to our Power Walk Sunday. Power Walk Sunday, that's a whole different flow, and you don't want to miss that. Let me tell you, it's Power Walk Sunday, and we are having Power Walk Sunday every second Sunday at 10 a.m. Again, live on all platforms. So remember, go over to our website, join out, click on any of our things. Actually, you can leave us a message and join our mailing list. Become a part of our mailing list so that you can know all of the things that we're going to be doing. We have webinars and classes and master classes, and we're planning symposiums. We have a lot of things coming down the pike. So become a part of Movement Worldwide and network with us and build with us. So anything you want to say, Annette, before we go?
Oh, yeah, that's one thing I want to leave you with. Just know that change is got to change. So you got to understand that change is just change, and you got to walk with it. And whether you like it or not, change is just going to change.
Change is just going to change.
It's going to change. Yeah.
All right. Well, good people. We thank you, and we appreciate you. And we'll be back same time, same place next week, different topic. You all have a good night. Mwah.
Bye.
God bless you.